He was described by his superiors as, quote, tougher than a bag of barbed wire and just as sharp.
Tough as a bag of barbed wire.
Tougher than a bag of barbed wire.
No, Gav, tougher.
Tougher than a bag of barbed wire.
A bug.
And just as sharp.
Gav, a bug.
A bug.
A barbed wire. Remember, he's a cowboy. Huh? You got to insert a U into every word. Hello there, welcome to episode 24 of Bloomin Legends. I'm Johnny Vaughan. That is Gavin the Woodman Woods. You're right, Gavin?
Yeah, really good.
Thank you for joining me this week.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here again.
It's really nice to have you.
Thank you so much. I think you've made me feel like a guest.
It's really nice
again.
that every week I sit down and do this, and it's really nice that I've got a good regular guest.
Yeah, well, it's nice for me too.
Am I your regular guest?
You're my regular host.
Am I? Am I?
Yeah, it's like going to the same party, but it's always fun.
It's like every week I've got the same expert. Once again, I'm joined by Bloomin Legend, expert of Bloomin Legendariness, Gavin Woods. Gav, a couple of weeks ago, we asked people to send in instances. This is to @Bloomin Legends on our social media, or of course you can send it to bloominlegends@global.com, or you can comment on videos too on the Radio X on YouTube of examples when you want to cry, seize him.
Exactly. Nominate who you would have liked to be seized.
Please do keep those coming in along with your Bloomin Legends.
Please, they're always
all
funny.
the time.
Yeah.
And also people who are stopping me
Yes.
and going, oh, John, you got to have a Bloomin. I'll tell you who's a Bloomin Legend. And they tell me a real legendary story. Don't just tell me in the street.
No, send them in.
No, else it won't happen. Someone was telling me years ago that during Live Aid, Bob Geldof, people just used to come up to Bob Geldof and give him cash.
Actual cash.
Actual cash all the time.
God,
and
that must have been weird.
Well, it must have been really weird for him. You know, I mean, I don't know how much. I presume it all ended up in the charity.
I'm sure, yeah.
If it was me, you know, and I had to sort of pay that cab, it would be quite a difficult one. I was sort of thinking, can I write a cheque? I can't possibly use the 50 that a complete stranger has just thrust into my pocket.
No,
I'm not accusing Bob of larceny.
Of course not. No,
larceny or
but
fraud.
what if you end up with like 700 quid in various pockets?
No, but presumably he was allowed expenses.
Well, absolutely.
You know, and so if someone hands you a donation while you're in the street, right, for a charity, Gav, I love what you do, mate. Could you give that to give that to
the
a charity?
cause?
Give that to your local church. And then now you're in a cab on the way to that church, technically to go and give them that donation.
You could use some of that money for the cab.
You could definitely use that cab fare
and maybe some lunch on the way there.
You definitely, if you were feeling weak.
Well, if it was a decent restaurant.
Yeah. But say it was 20 quid in a cab. Yeah. And they'd given you a 50.
Yes.
You can certainly say, well, to get that 50 to the church has cost me 20 quid.
Absolutely.
Plus, I've now got to get home.
Right.
After that.
Of course. Absolutely.
What I'm saying to you is, I would hope all that money that Bob was given, and I would presume, knowing Bob and what a decent man he is, I would think that all the thousands in cash he was given in the streets ended up in the charity.
I'm sure it did.
I cannot say the same for the ideas and the Bloomin Legends you thrust upon me in the streets.
No,
I can't guarantee they're going to end up in the podcast.
In the kitty. That's
so
right.
Please. Vouchsafe them.
Put them in writing.
Vouchsafe.
Put them in writing. Have them sealed with a wax seal and send them with an errand boy.
I wish there was an app for that.
To our offices.
I wish there was an app where you could seal things. And
send them to our solicitor, Mr. Fezzi.
At the end of this,
of Whitechapel.
At the end of this, there will be. I'll tell you the lawyer. No, there isn't a lawyer, but you can, like I say, you can go to Bloomin Legends @global.com. You can email us, or you can go to the Radio X YouTube channel. Keep your seize them's coming. Seize him.
Yes.
People you'd like to say seize him to. So just to remind you, a couple of weeks ago, for instance, anyone who cuts in front of me at the reduced section at Sainsbury's, Martin Smith said,
perfect.
Seize him.
Or Paul's one about people playing loud music in public.
Well, that's
on public transport.
That's why I brought it up again, because that just happened to me.
Right.
And actually, what I wanted to say, I wanted to take it up a level from seize him, which is shoot him, Kurt. Shoot him, Kurt. Which is a lovely thing to say. Gav.
Yes.
Enough of my yakking. What do you say? Let's boogie.
Let's boogie.
Who is this week's Bloomin Legend? Come on,
Johnny. This is one of the earliest hero stories I ever covered, and it's just one of my favourites. Today's
Can I just,
Bloomin Legend.
Can I just explain to them, when Gavin says
Yes.
it's one of the earliest hero stories he's ever covered, we do a show every single day on
Yes.
Radio X, the 4 till 7 thing, and Gav, every single show in the first hour at around 4:50, 4:45, he delivers his heroic little slot. He has a little slot with a hero in it, and this is where Bloomin Legends came from. I don't want to start hitting you up with some incredible origin story because I haven't got one.
No, that's right.
That's it. It's not. That's not. It ain't Spider-Man.
No, it's
He
not
wasn't
Spider-Man.
bitten by a radioactive spider
No,
on a school outing.
We weren't bitten by a radioactive radio.
No,
we're not like Radio Man.
Yeah, right. He didn't have a tramp suddenly wank him off in a.
That's not an origin story.
No, but there is
anyone's
an
ever
origin
heard
story.
of.
No, there is an origin story.
Why did you go to that?
No, because there is an origin story where that happens.
What?
Where a tramp fondles someone.
No,
a tramp, a super tramp.
A radioactive tramp?
Super tramp.
Super
no,
tramp.
A guy where there is an origin.
And suddenly he can sing
Okay,
really high.
This isn't some incredible superhero one. It's not where a guy, is tired one night, so he is spooned by a super tramp in a subway.
No, that's not a superhero story.
I'm pretty sure that's a cartoon.
So. What, does he get the power to sing really high?
I don't know, but
Take the long way home.
He beds down for night with it. He doesn't know it's a radioactive tramp, and he is spooned.
It's a great cover. It's way better than Clark Kent.
Yeah,
if you were a tramp
he's spooned,
and a superhero,
or he is spooned by a super tramp, and they are both struck by lightning. He becomes the lightning tramp, and I don't know.
Tramp.
Electric tramp.
I want to watch the film.
Super tramp.
I want to see the film.
It's super tramp.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. So anyway, today's Bloomin Legend, Johnny, is Charles Upham. You'll remember him as the VC and bar winner.
He won
from New Zealand. I think the only one.
No,
I think
there is a guy called Goff.
Is there?
I read a book once called Goffy.
Not Darren Goff,
no.
Obviously, yeah.
Darren Goff's one.
Not Darren.
For butting.
Anyway, Charles Upham was a New Zealand soldier, the only combat soldier ever awarded a Victoria Cross twice.
Right.
The highest military honour for bravery in the British Commonwealth. He fought in Crete and North Africa during World War II. He survived being shot multiple times. He blew up enemy positions. He rescued wounded comrades under fire.
You've got to do that.
You have to do all of this.
You've got to do that.
And you have to be observed doing this.
Yes.
To get a nomination. And he was eventually captured only to become a serial escape artist in German POW camps.
Another thing you've got to do.
That's definitely part of it.
You've got to do it. You've got to save comrades. Do shit under fire.
Well, you'll see as we get into his story, he pretty much does that every time he's in a battle. He takes out enemy positions. He kills enemy. Then he saves a load of his own.
What's really weird
while wounded.
What's weird about it is the British, we didn't have any medals for gallantry at all. None.
Until, the Crimea?
Until the Victoria Cross came along.
Right.
And do you know where it comes from? And this is so ironic.
Go on.
The Iron Cross. Which the Germans
do have.
So Prince Albert,
the one celebrated by bikers all over the planet.
Right. So that's where it's from. They just thought we should have one.
Right.
So Prince Albert thought, because there was so much brave stuff going on,
right.
that was, and he pointed out it really fires people up. It's not enough just to die for your country.
No,
you got to have a bit of daring do.
Absolutely,
and that's what it says on it, for valour.
Absolutely, yes.
And each one is, and still today, it's the same cannon. Which cannon? Each one is made from a Chinese cannon that had been seized from the Chinese by the Russians and then seized by the British from the Russians in Sebastopol.
Wow.
And they still make them, the famous medal maker, whoever they are. But I reckon business must be a bit slack for them.
It must be like what... they're so rare. They're really rare, VCs.
About 1,500, something like that?
Yeah, it's not many. And so, how does he make a living, that guy?
Yeah.
He's just the VC
guy. They
guy.
do medals generally.
I'm sure they do lots of
But they're running out. I think there's enough for 8 more from that cannon, something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, anyway, so that's how it started. It was but isn't it ironic that...
The first medal for a conspicuous gallantry. Yeah.
But what's ironic is that most people who have won Victoria Crosses, it's been against Germans.
Yeah. Yes.
Right, and it was a German idea.
And it was modelled after a German medal.
Yeah, and do you know what that makes me think, Gav?
What?
They don't like it Upham, let's have the hero.
Well, that's why I was thinking that should be our hero's name.
Yes.
His name's Charles Upham. His
They
name should be Charles. They don't like it Upham. He was born in September 1908 in Christchurch, New Zealand. Guess where he grew up? Guess what environment he grew up in?
Farm.
Yep. Almost every soldier or fighter ace I've ever covered that's killed more than 5 enemy aircraft or any, they were all grown up on farms and they all knew how to shoot a rifle.
And normally they were good cricketers.
Always.
Normally they were good cricketers.
Yes.
So when you look at people playing cricket, don't necessarily see a field of cricketers.
See a warrior.
Just see a full of literally fighters.
Absolutely.
Fighters. You see cricketers, yeah? I see killers.
He grew up on farms, he loved the outdoors, and he was described as having a, quote, quiet intensity.
Really?
Yeah, which I looked up. That's almost a special forces motto.
Yes.
In Latin, that is quietam intentionem.
Yeah, it sounds pretty similar. Again.
It does,
There's
doesn't it?
no need for you to translate that.
No, I know.
In English,
I know.
quiet intensity.
I know, it's great. He was not a strong child. He had one leg slightly shorter than the other.
Oh, do you know?
I know, this is such a great origin story. I know.
Don't even toy with me.
His doctor thought he had polio at the time.
Oh, as a child, he was sickly.
He was nicknamed Pug or Puggy at school.
Oh, man.
He was a lone ranger.
A sickly farm boy who played a bit of cricket. Doctors wrote him off.
Well, wait.
Get in there.
Normally placid, but now and then he would show that he was capable of a deep, fierce temper if pushed and aroused to do so.
A bad-tempered, sickly child
a loner,
from a farm, a crazed loner.
Who dares wins, that is, isn't it?
No,
it just
what
is,
in a
isn't
steel? How tall was he? Tell me he's 5'4".
Not tall,
not
tall. His nickname was Puggy.
Oh, little short, sickly
a little
farm
angry
boy.
Kiwi,
Oh, angry
born on a
Kiwi.
farm.
Stubborn little Kiwi.
Those Germans didn't stand a chance.
No, but also I love the fact that he probably never gave in to the bullies.
Never.
That's where it starts.
Never.
That's a test of mettle.
Were you nicknamed at school? I was always called Woody or Woodsy or something. It's
do you know what? I've only ever been Tough John.
Right. Fair enough.
When I was about 4, I was called Lil Tough.
That's right, because they knew what was coming.
Yes,
they knew
but
what was
back
coming.
when I was just a child, I was always Lil Tough.
Sure.
And then I became Tough John. That was I got when I was about 12 down at the gym.
Yeah. You'd been there a while, hadn't you?
Well, you just plug away at the heavy bag.
That was actually your gym at the time already, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had my own gym at 12. I got my first job, as a summer job, working down a martial arts centre with a gym on the side.
And also they used you to move the weights around when you were a young child.
No, at first it was it was just mopping and cleaning and cleaning out the bins and stuff. And then I remember one day they just heard the noise of the heavy bag.
Yeah.
And they just saw this child there just
They were worried about the ceiling joist, weren't they? Yeah.
It was the shoulder,
Sure,
anyway, go on.
Yeah.
Anyway, I took it all in.
Absolutely. So he trained as a farm manager and a surveyor when he was at college. Guess what kind of farming he was involved in down there in New Zealand?
I tell you what, it ain't pigs.
No, it was sheep.
Of course it was.
In 1939, he joins the 2nd New Zealand Expeditionary Force.
Okay.
In
what year?
1939. So obviously, as World War II kicks off,
well, he gets in really early.
He volunteers for action, aged 30.
Okay, Gav, can I just say?
Yeah, go on.
At that point, there was no need to.
No, you were going to get conscripted at some point. There's not that many.
No, but there's just no need to. There was nothing. There was 1939.
It was right at the beginning.
That was right at the beginning of the war, and there was what was called the phony war. Nothing happened.
Oh, you're talking about for the other Commonwealths to
volunteer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing. Nothing. The Japanese.
That's early. That's right.
The Japanese don't become involved in 1941. I tell you why so many Kiwis got involved then.
Why?
Because they'd already had their heads full of daring do tales from the First War.
Yes.
Which is only 20 years before.
Not long before.
Well, he's only finished 21 years before that.
Yeah, well, he was a child during that war, so he would have remembered all the stories from his uncles or
so
father.
he'd have been a 10-year-old.
Yes.
And he'd have heard these stories about these far-off places and people just literally getting slaughtered at Gallipoli. Yeah. And rather than putting him off,
Gallipoli,
he was like, right, I want to get revenge for that. You don't know his revenge motive.
Well, he was 30, so he wasn't young even.
But someone he knew and loved. His own. I don't know what happened to his own father, but maybe there is a revenge motive. I mean, if you could be asked to do better research, you'd know that.
Well, check this out.
Here's some. You want sloppy research, John?
He'd already had 5 years' experience in the New Zealand Army TA, the Territorial Army, or Territorial Force, as they called it, in which he held the rank of sergeant, but he volunteered as a private.
Of course he did.
Which makes me a bit tearful.
Yeah.
He signed on as a private, but rapidly rose through the ranks to become a temporary lance corporal, and was described by his superiors...
Gav, that's not a rapid rise through the ranks. He's already a sergeant. He's signed on as a private. The next rank up is Lance Corporal.
Sure.
Or private
but
first
it happened
class.
Almost instantly, is the point.
Well, it should do.
Yeah, sure. But
that's not a rapid rise, Gavin.
He was described by his superiors as, quote, tougher than a bag of barbed wire and just as sharp.
Tough as a bag of barbed wire.
Tougher than a bag of barbed wire.
No, Gav, tougher.
Tougher than a bag of barbed wire.
A bug.
And just as sharp.
Gav, a bug.
A bug.
A barbed wire. Remember, he's a Kiwi. Huh? You got to insert a U into every word. Like, I bet I'd like to know what his TikToks were.
Yeah.
Which is my favourite.
That's
keyword.
what Zunzen Brooks said, the rugby player. On air, I watched him saying, and they asked him what he thought the game was going to go, and he goes, "Oh, well, it all depends on what kind of TikToks they use."
It depends on their TikToks.
TikToks.
Can I just tell you something about him as well?
Go on.
I have beaten him and Sean Fitzpatrick, in a game of spoof.
No.
Yeah, after playing
Zunzen Brooks and...
Yeah, at the same time.
Wow.
With Will Carling. Yeah, put all three to the sword in a game of spoof, which is quite good.
Yeah,
it's
not
quite good.
Bad.
Because I know they're mad on it.
We're being asked, how would we describe each other? I've got funnier than a bag of funny bones and just as tanned.
Yes.
It doesn't quite work because funny bones aren't brown.
No.
But I don't know. Tougher than a bag of barbed wire and just as sharp. It's pretty good.
It's really good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. But again, Bloomin Legends at global.com. Any of your tough similes.
Go for it.
Tougher than a bag of barbed wire and
just as sharp.
And just as sharp, please. Keep them coming in. Anything you've heard, it might be your grandparents, your parents, or just make them up. Just freestyle your own tough similes.
Yeah, fill them in.
Yeah.
So in 1941,
in
1941, he gets his first Victoria Cross for
How does he get it?
For what he does in the Greece and Crete action. This is going to be his first Bloomin Legend moment. So in March 41, he's deployed to Greece where he fought in the Battle of Crete.
Can I just ask you, Gavin?
Go on, yes.
Before we go on,
yes.
Where do you think? And this is a discussion I invite you to have. Where would you? This is a great bit of dinner party chit chat, especially in mixed company.
Sure.
Where would you be deployed?
In
the whole of what you got World War II,
yes.
The world is at war. Where would you least likely like to go?
Right.
And where would you go? 1941. So you've got the Japanese in there now.
This is the comeback, isn't it? This is the beginning of the fight back.
Yeah, the Japanese are now involved.
Yes,
so you've got
the whole Pacific.
It's a world war now. Singapore, India, Burma. You got any of those delightful places?
I don't know. That's a really tough one. I've always quite liked the idea of the advance from North Africa into Italy to push up through Italy towards Germany.
Well, you're saying El Alamein. You want to go desert?
Well, no,
war.
Not starting there. I'm talking like after that.
You just said
I'm talking...
I'd like to have been in the desert war. No, I've asked that question to loads of people.
No, basically
desert war. John.
Up through Italy would have been.
That's a bit later.
Yeah, it was just they went from Tripoli into Sicily and then Italy, didn't they? That always struck me as quite a nice angle of attack.
John,
into
I'd
Germany.
like to have done.
Go on.
I'd like to have been part of a small force of men charged with taking out two big guns in a cliffside.
What, you mean up in mountains somewhere?
Yes, yeah, like
sort of Arctic warfare. Guns of Navarone.
Yeah. I'd like to have been part of a small force of people infiltrating somewhere sort of Greek. With like a David Niven figure, and like Anthony Quinn,
a leather tabard and a Sten,
exactly.
And anything that involves cable cars is what you're talking about.
No, not with cable cars.
Oh, right.
I want to take out two big guns in a cliffside,
Navarone
style.
That sounds like
that's
fun.
what I'd like to. I'd like to be on those missions where they say, "But sir, this is suicide." I go, "Where do I sign on, sir?" You know those people.
Sounds like fun, sir.
Yeah, this is suicide. Sounds like quite a show. I wouldn't be left out of this show for the world.
Try and stop me, sir.
Yeah, you try and stop.
What time do we leave?
I warn you, men, it's suicide. Well, I'd like to be the guy that says, I warn you, men, this is suicide.
Yeah, that'd be great.
No, in fact, I'd like to be the guy that stands past him and rolls a map down. And that's what I do.
Pay attention.
And that's what I do for much of the war.
And pointing with your pipe.
Now listen, chaps, I warn you
this. We'll be going in at dawn.
If any of you have any doubts about doing this whatsoever,
Feel free to duck out now.
I quite understand.
And every man jack
Yeah.
of them says, "You try and stop us, sir."
Couldn't miss out on a show like this, huh? But I'd like to be the sir they talk to.
Well, I mean, this is pretty much the kind of show we'd all like to
Yeah.
think we'd have got involved in.
That's what I'd like to do.
Yeah.
At first, I thought I'd like to be on the mission.
Yeah.
Just because I'd like to be behind the counter in like one of those Greek tavernas and then suddenly stand up and just go. yeah. It just looks like such fun.
And
doesn't it?
unsuspecting Nazi
Yeah.
officers
No,
suddenly realise.
Or just coming past in sort of what looks like a sort of nasty-looking car, and
And a
suddenly you just
half-track
pop up
coming
and just
past.
take out
Yeah,
everything. Or I'd like to be one of those guys on just looking like a sort of lazy Greek fisherman.
Yes,
you know, but
but
in
actually he's
in
got
fact, underneath the nets I've got a lot of weaponry, and I'm just sort of.
Would you like to be involved with a bell tower at some point as well? Maybe a bit of sniping from a
but
bell
I've
tower.
always wanted to take out at least 4 guard towers with a bazooka.
Oh yes.
man.
Oh, that's the dream.
It's one of my favourite things in all war films, and I don't know if our hero did this,
With
which
the
is,
prisoner towers.
you know, I mean, as soon as you see them, you sort of think
They're just
they're
juicy
only there. They're
targets.
only there to get blown up.
They are.
But what they never show is, you know, in those guard towers, what a cushy number they're on.
They're making tea.
You sense they're up there.
They're making
probably got a
tea,
little bottle
yeah,
of something. No
definitely.
one's sneaking up on anything in the jungle.
No,
no
no,
one's
no,
escaping. You literally got eyes in there.
There's no drones in
no
those
what,
days.
little unarmed guys, and then
That's
suddenly. Okay, go on. Thump, thump.
So yes,
that's exactly the noise it makes. Thump.
So Allied troops had planned a counterattack because the Germans and Italian forces had landed in Crete. And this attack with the Allies was led by Charles Upham and his platoon. His men had to run 600 metres under fire. That's quite a long way to take out the first machine gun post. Upham led them. He crawled the final 15 metres and threw the grenades into the base. He then continued crawling and took out 2 more, this is on his own, 2 more machine gun posts. The Allied troops were forced to retreat as they didn't have any air support. So on his way out, he spotted a wounded comrade and just picked him up and carried him 500 yards under fire.
Wow.
He was next to a mortar shell that blew shrapnel into his face during this action, and he got shot in the left shoulder and took a bullet in the foot, but continued to fight.
Do you know, they love giving Victoria Crosses to people from Australia and New Zealand. They do it the whole time. Do you know why?
Why?
Because they become local legends and they inspire kids, like the guys who inspired him probably from the first show, between 14 and 18, from the first show, Gav. So it's a great thing to do. You know, it's like we always let the Kiwis win at rugby because it's just good. You know, it means
it makes them feel better.
If they can beat England at rugby, they're never going to vote to abolish the monarchy.
That's right.
You can't do. You've just beaten us at rugby. They're too polite, you know, because they're like old school Scots. You know, they can't bring themselves to do it, you know.
You're right. But
as long as they beat us at rugby, they'll still have the king.
Oh, absolutely. So, yes, he's taken a bullet to the foot and in the shoulder. But the German forces continued to break through their defence lines, and Upham ordered his troops to retreat further whilst he got the message up the line to other platoons. Whilst running down the line, he encountered 2 German soldiers who shot at him. He dropped to the floor, pretending to be dead, and wedged his rifle propped in a tree root.
Right.
And whilst as he dropped to the floor, the German soldiers approached him to confirm the kill. He pulled the trigger and killed them both.
Wow.
This is unbelievable. This is corroborated by witnesses. During the whole of the operation, he suffered from diarrhea through the whole thing.
War is hell.
Wow.
Now, I think there should be a separate medal just for that.
No, there should be like the Brown Cross.
Definitely. He did all of this under the circumstances of having
you should
diarrhea.
You should win a medal that's called the Brown Rover or something like that. No, I don't know what the
This is just unbelievable.
Anything you do in war
with the condition of
so what you like about him, sir? He had the shits at the time. Then there should be an extra medal for that.
With bar, but it would be with poo or something.
No, wouldn't it just be? They just whatever the medal is, there's a brown bar on top.
A brown ribbon.
A brown ribbon. You get a brown ribbon on the medal. He not only did he do that, he did it with the shits.
I just think that's
But that's on the
unbelievable.
citation.
That
All
was the
this.
least of his problems.
Yeah. No,
was he
it
had the
wouldn't be.
shits.
He had the shits.
He would have hated it.
Yes.
It was so
Yes,
horrible.
yeah.
And it would have. What was this? This was March. It was getting quite warm in Crete. It was a hot day.
Yes. No,
he's
no.
been shot.
He's
killing everyone. He's saving his
Unbelievable.
comrades, and he had the shits.
But if you have the shits, then you've got to get a brown ribbon.
So his commanding officer recommends him for the Victoria Cross. Charles was against this award.
Yeah.
He feeling that.
Or Gav, the brown star is added to it. He further
A
owed
Victoria Cross with brown star.
with brown star.
He didn't want this first VC. He said it was undeserved.
Yeah.
He said eventually his commanding officer
Can I
convinced
just say
him.
again, Gav? You know, that's part of it, isn't it?
Well,
The sort of
of
people,
course it
the
is,
sort of
yes.
people who win the Victoria Cross
are the ones who don't
are the
want
ones
it.
that literally
Yeah.
we never even knew.
Everyone else did it.
We never
Yeah,
even knew. It must
that's
be
right,
what
yeah.
fun it is having a Victoria Cross, returning to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Everyone knowing about it.
Yes,
Literally
that's right, yeah.
Every man, jack of them, child, everyone knowing about it. He never even mentioned the war.
Amazing.
He never even mentioned leaving the farm. You know.
But
Amazing.
But his commanding officer convinces him that it was for his own bravery, but also the service of his unit. So he
Yeah.
accepted it.
Yeah.
This is a running theme with Charles Upham. He really was, well, appeared to be extremely modest. In 1942, this is the beginning of his the reason why he was given a second.
Okay, already though,
VC.
Bloomin Legend though, Gav.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So 1942, he's had an argument with his superior officer when he was left out of a deployment to Libya because he wanted more action. He said his officer said he was fretting for more action, and he was worried that he would, quote, get himself killed too quickly.
Yeah, right.
Because they needed him.
You're also killed doing something silly.
Exactly. Lucky for him, in 42, he was sent to Egypt during the first Battle of El Alamein.
Of course.
His wild
Which is-
warfare continued as he crawled through a minefield. He took out a truck full of German troops with grenades.
Right.
It's like a movie.
Yeah.
Which he was so close to, he got injured by the shrapnel of
Yes.
his own grenade. He was shot in the elbow and refused to leave the battlefield.
Right.
The following day, another attack happened. He was shot again in the leg. He was then captured and taken as a POW.
Yeah.
So we don't know he's going to get a VC for what he did in Africa because he did several things. In fact, I'll come to that.
Yeah, okay.
So in 1942 to 1945,
Did he get anything for what you just told me then?
Yes, he got the bar for what he did in Africa.
Okay.
But it doesn't become clear why until later, when the
Okay.
king is asking about why.
Okay.
King George VI, that was. So
Yeah.
in 1942, he's a prisoner. He makes his first escape attempt by turning his bed on its end
Yeah.
and smashing it through the ceiling of his cell. He climbs out onto
Sorry,
the...
when does he get captured?
1942. So he's
Okay.
captured in Africa
He's captured
by
af-
the Germans.
After he skittled them all in the bus with the
Yes,
grenades. Okay.
after all that, but he gets shot and then captured.
Okay,
he
which
gets
is-
shot in the
okay,
leg
okay,
and then
okay.
captured. So in 1942, the Germans have got him. They've
Yeah.
captured him in North Africa.
And Italians,
after
big-
he's
they're
shot. Yeah,
both of the forces
yes,
there,
that's right. Yeah, they take him first to a prison in Italy. He makes his first escape attempt by turning his bed on its end and smashing into the ceiling of his cell.
Nice.
He climbs out onto the roof, but he's trapped by a wire mesh in the loft space.
Right.
He gets recaptured. In 43, problematic prisoners in Italy, which he was one of,
Yeah.
were moved to German camps in Germany to contain them. But while being transported, he jumps out of the back of the
Classic.
truck.
Saw the chance.
Oh, he jumps out of the back of the truck while it's turning a corner, and he runs 400 meters from the road. But he'd broken his ankle and gets recaptured.
Oh, man.
He arrives in Weinsberg.
Bloody ankle.
He arrives in Weinsberg camp. I'm surprised he didn't snap his foot off and carry on running.
He chewed his own foot off, and that's what he lived on for
That's
2
right,
days.
yeah.
And he put it in his tacker bag.
Who needs feet?
Yeah, who
he
needs
said.
feet? I'll run on the stumps, mate, and I can go faster.
So anyway-
sorry, Forster.
So he arrives in Weinsberg camp and he decides to make his third attempt. Fairly
Almost as you said, Weinsberg, Gav.
Yeah.
I just imagine, like in the Young Frankenstein, just lightning.
Yes,
he
that-
arrived in Weinsberg.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He decides to make his third breakout attempt fairly quickly after he's broken his ankle, this is. In broad daylight, he climbs out of a hospital window and up the fence. He gets caught on the barbed wire at the top and he falls between the two fences.
Wow.
When a guard points a pistol at his head and threatens to shoot him, Upham calmly ignores him and lights a cigarette.
Nice. God. Wow.
So amazing.
Well, he's got a guard.
Well, he
with a
knows
gun.
they've got him, but it's just so
A
funny.
guard points a gun at his
Halt!
head. Achtung! points a gun at his head, and he just lights a fag. Yeah.
All right, you got me.
Gav.
I think that's a Bloomin Legend moment on its own.
This guy just keeps giving, Gav.
Well, the Germans are now completely fed up with him.
Yeah.
Because he's an uppity little Kiwi.
Yeah.
And they send him to Colditz.
No, I've got to say, even in Britain, we don't like an uppity.
Absolutely.
No one likes
That's
an
right.
uppity little Kiwi.
So they
Not even the Kiwis.
So they send him to the big leagues. They send him to Colditz.
Get in
He's there in 1943.
It's the Premiership, isn't it?
It is the big leagues.
No one.
It's the Premier
You're
League.
no one in the world
you
of tricky soldiers.
If they need to send you to Colditz, you're in the Premier League.
Oh, you really
of prisoners.
It's like Top Gun, but
it really is. Well, and famously, Colditz had real escape artists in there. They were all at it.
Yeah, and also escape artists.
Proper artists.
It really is.
Artists regiment.
Literally, as soon as they arrive, they're just looking to escape.
All the
whole time. They
had whole classrooms talking to each other.
Attempt to bribe guard. You know, steal a nail I see on the ground that I could later on turn into a hat.
Fashion into a small aircraft.
I can at least fashion that into a key.
Didn't they build a glider or something?
They built a glider.
And one guy jumped out and covered himself as sort of rubble. He had like a blanket over him.
Oh, he collected
There's some
stones.
amazing stories.
Literally sewed a load of stones to a blanket, and he managed to escape disguised as a rockery.
He just moved 1 inch a week.
He moved up.
Took him 6 months to get 100 yards away.
Took him 6 months. He escaped disguised as a vegetable patch.
Oh my God! So yes, he's on his way to
disguised as an allotment.
He's on his way to Colditz.
Yeah.
And on the journey to Colditz, he makes his fourth attempt. Guess what he does, right?
What?
They're on the train. They don't let him go to the toilet on the train unless the train is travelling very fast.
Right.
Because then they know he's not going to jump off.
Yeah, right.
But he does jump off at full speed.
Breaks an ankle?
No, he knocks himself out. He knocks himself out cold. He wakes up and gets recaptured in an orchard surrounded by the tracks. So Colditz was eventually overthrown. He ends up in Colditz. The POWs are liberated by the Americans. Upham steals a load of US Army gear and tries to join in with them for the next wave of action. He doesn't get transported back.
Right. So most people when they're liberated from Colditz just want to go home.
They're thin, they're hungry, they're tired.
He says, great.
No, he picks up a
Can
gun
I hitch a ride?
and a helmet and shows, show me the Jeep.
But also, I mean, you're right in at the end of the war there.
Yeah, true. So he knows there's some good action ahead.
I'm not sure where Colditz is, but what he wants to get in there, he's literally...
He's in Germany, isn't he?
He wants to get in with an arse kicking.
Yeah, he does. He wants to get there before the Russians, doesn't he? You could tell.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. So he was stopped from doing that. He does join them for 4 days of fighting, because they are still clearing away German troops.
Yeah, absolutely right.
And before he got found out and sent back to England as an evacuated POW. That's so funny. I mean, that detail alone is hilarious.
Let me fight!
The bravery and the slippery nature helped towards his
I'm surprised at the end then he didn't volunteer to go out east and finish off the Jap.
Well, it's unbelievable because he does get the bar to his VC when he gets back to England. King George, I looked up the citation. It's this isn't the citation. This is a report about King George VI asking his commanding officer, Major General Howard Kippenberger, what do you think of Upham yourself? And this is what Kippenberger says. I was his brigadier in North Africa, sir. He did so many brave things. In my respectful opinion, Captain Upham won the VC several times over.
Right.
In fact, Kippenberger had been approached with citations from 2 different officers from 2 different battles, nominating him for a VC.
Good. You imagine there's a lot of good Lord, did he?
Well, must have, because
What's he done now?
It was such a rare award, and they knew no one else had been given it twice. That they just combined those 2 citations into one more.
Okay.
He's got the VC and bar. That is obviously I think he's about his 5th Bloomin Legend moment, but it's definitely one of his main Bloomin Legend moments. After the war, he returns home. In 1945, he comes back to New Zealand, a national hero. Everyone knows who he is. He's offered a substantial monetary reward that was raised by the public for being the only person with 2 VCs. The money was meant to give him enough to buy a farm and live there. He turns it down.
Of course he did. I was just doing my duty.
He turns it. No, and not just that. He said he hadn't done anything extraordinary. He just said I didn't do anything
Think how
special.
bad that makes others feel.
Well, of
This
course it
uppity
does.
little
Yeah,
poo.
yeah.
Or if I did nothing special, everyone's going, oh. What did you do in the war, Dad? Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Me, myself, just
Yeah.
like Upham,
Yeah.
we did nothing
I
extraordinary.
did nothing. I can tell you now, nothing extraordinary.
Nothing
Yeah, exactly right,
extraordinary,
yeah.
exactly.
But Gav, Bloomin Legend.
Well, 1994, he passes away. He's a national legend in New Zealand and
Yeah.
among the entire Allied forces.
Yes.
He died in 94 at the age of 86, and he was buried with full military honours.
How about that? What's amazing about it is if you win a Victoria Cross,
Yes.
everyone salutes you.
Yes, no matter what rank, isn't it?
No, field marshals don't.
Oh, is that right?
No, because only one field marshal, so he's
Right, he's always
I
above
don't
everyone.
think we've even
Yeah,
got one at the moment. But
yeah.
'cause-
Wow, is that true?
yeah, so if he passes a general salutes him and he returns the
Wow.
salute because
It's
he's
so rare,
He's
yeah.
soldiered. Yeah,
My
I met
God.
Bahari.
Johnson Bahari?
Yeah,
is
Johnson
it?
Bahari.
Yeah,
I met
yeah.
him at a rugby bash.
Wow.
And he was in dress uniform and everything.
Right.
So he has a smaller Victoria Cross for his thing.
I've never
And
seen one in the
I was suddenly
flesh,
thinking,
yeah.
I was suddenly thinking, I'm just drinking with a guy here who's won
actually won
a
been
really
awarded
good bloke as well. But
Is he? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but amazingly, incredible.
He was the last, wasn't he?
No, there's been a
Has there
couple of
been-
others.
yeah,
There's
yeah. Right.
but he last in Britain, I think.
Yeah.
And because most of them is posthumous. To win one and be alive is rare in itself. To win two is
Unbelievable.
But to still be alive,
Right.
it's extraordinary. Let's salute him, Gav.
Charles Upham.
They don't like it, Upham.
No.
We salute you.